Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, we have the real reason Andrade left AEW for WWE.
A free agent WWE's chasing was backstage at AEW Dynamite.
Samoa Joe has told his side of the story regarding the All-In fight.
And how often are WWE stars drug tested in 2024? I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
And this is the news.
All right, let's talk about one of the big movers in pro wrestling in 2024 so far, Andrade. I guess formerly El Idolo, now that he's no longer in AEW. Maybe it's Cien Almas again. Who the heck knows? But Andrade, he's left AEW. Obviously, his contract expired, I think it was on December 31st.
Yes.
He had his last match with Miro at World's End, which was a shame.
He got screwed by CJ Perry. Who could see that coming?
Poor CJ Perry and her finger. Have you been following this?
I've tried not to, if I'm perfectly honest.
Don't look at the images. I feel really bad for her. I hope she's okay.
Yeah, get well soon.
But Andrade, let's talk about, Fightful decided to publish a new report with some details on his departure, and I think it's quite interesting, so that's why we're talking about it today. And maybe some factors that influenced his decision as well. So, Andrade had been on a 2-year AEW contract, but time was added on because he was out injured. That is pretty standard in wrestling. That's something I agree with, but
everyone does it, yeah.
All the big companies do it. It's not like you're picking on AEW or WWE or whatever. According to talent in AEW, Andrade actually hadn't been shy of talking about his situation, which doesn't surprise me.
And did he also try and chin Sammy Guevara?
He did, and then there was a report he was trying to get fired. Whether or not that was true, you decide, but it's an interesting story. He told people that his deal was up at the end of 2023. Basically. At one stage, he'd actually told talent that he was planning on staying and maybe signing a new contract with the promotion. However, this obviously changed, and he eventually was telling people, no, I'm going back to WWE, brother. So he wasn't shy about stuff like that. Some people within AEW they thought he was going to end up on WWE TV the week later.
Yeah.
But this obviously didn't end up happening. There was rumors he was going to be the former champion.
Yeah.
Which was The Rock via Jinder Mahal, which was quite funny. Now, sources close to AEW have noted that even though Tony Khan has publicly said that the door is open for a return someday, one thing about Tony Khan, people talk about him on Twitter, all that stuff, and you can say what you want. You can think his Twitter activity is idiotic. It's totally fine. That's a fair opinion. I love it. But but he's very graceful when people leave the company.
Yeah. Right?
He doesn't bury them. He doesn't act like an asshole. The Big Swole situation is a whole different kettle of BS. But, that was a different situation. But generally, when it comes to talent leaving, he's pretty graceful. That was an aside. While he has been publicly, the doors open, it's been described as a very frustrating process in general. I'm not sure if that's on Tony's side or on Andrade's side. I don't know. However, Andrade is understood to have told AEW he was leaving in the days leading up to World's End. Final piece of this puzzle, Charlotte Flair, of course, Andrade's partner. She is understood to have pushed for him to return to WWE. Sources within WWE haven't officially confirmed that he's going back there, although some have admitted that it's probably happening.
Yeah.
He wants to work with his wife.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what many people presumed, alongside the frustrations within AEW, which I think are kind of on both sides. Did they push Andrade as far as they should have? That's up for debate. Did he do the business the right way? That's another thing that's up for debate. I think it's kind of, it just the relationship, whilst it initially seemed I remember that photo of him walking down the street with his shirt open, and it was why would you let him go, WWE?
That was the day he got cut as well, wasn't it?
And then it seemed all good, and then, there's reports of, he won't lose to certain people or whatever. That's all speculation, blah, blah, blah. I just think it's best for all parties, like you say, for the time being. Would this have happened had Triple H not taken over? I don't know. Like you say, I think Charlotte Flair is a big factor in this, but I do think it helps that a guy who really liked him when he was in NXT, Triple H, is now running things on the main roster.
Definitely.
So I'm hopeful that, I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up in the Rumble, for example, but I'm hopeful that he gets the push he wants and deserves in WWE. But it's bad enough when people are on, Monday nights and Friday nights when they're in WWE. When they're in completely different companies, I don't know how people even see each other.
Yeah, for sure. It's all over the place. I think that Andrade going back to WWE is the right move for everyone. I completely agree with you. I think that people jumping around is very healthy for the business.
Yes.
I think that he is an excellent wrestler who didn't have the AEW run he would have wanted for a myriad reasons,
yes.
and that this will ultimately good. But let us know what you think down in the comment section below. Should AEW have done more with Andrade? How's he going to do back in WWE? Would you put him in the Rumble? Let us know. And hey, listen, one last little reminder, one last push. Tomorrow, tickets for our live event in Philadelphia, It's Always Sunny at WhatCulture, go on sale. If you want to sign up for an alert, there's a QR code on your screen right now. You can follow that. You will have exclusive pre-sale access. It's Sunday.
He said there's a QR code on your screen right now, love.
We should get your watch to do the announcement. But yes, tickets go on sale tomorrow. The event is the Sunday of WrestleMania weekend, the 7th of April. If you're in town, we would love to see you. Don't worry, the show will be over in plenty of time for you to get to the big event. It's going to be a great time. Sign up now. Get your ticket tomorrow. We love you. We appreciate you.
So excited for that. Like you say, all your favourite WhatCulture personalities, and I'll be going as well. Make sure you get your tickets. 12 p.m. on the Sunday. So like Andy said, loads of time to get to night 2 of WrestleMania. We are the meat in the WrestleMania sandwich. Sign up. And get your tickets tomorrow.
We're definitely spam if we're 100%.
Let's talk about a free agent who was backstage at last night's AEW Dynamite, despite the fact that she is hot on WWE's list in terms of picking her up. I'm talking about Camille. She was there at the Dynamite tapings in Charleston, North Carolina last night. Fightful Select reporting she was backstage, despite the fact she hasn't signed officially with WWE since her departure from the NWA. But panic over, WWE fans. The current belief is that she was just visiting friends at AEW Dynamite. House of Wrestling reported earlier this month that, she is high on WWE's radar, and that WWE's parent company, TKO Group, looking to refresh its talent pool with new impactful signings. And it looks like, according to Fightful, she will be signed to WWE's NXT brand. You are expecting big things from her.
Yeah, I was quite surprised to hear that she was, after the WWE link, she was backstage at Dynamite, but she's just visiting friends.
Harmless.
That being said, sometimes visiting friends is, hey, would you like a contract?
I'm sure questions will have been asked.
Yeah, for sure.
No harm in that either, because she's currently a free agent right now.
Yeah, she can do whatever the hell she wants.
And she can potentially get more money, which talent always should do.
Play companies off one another. It's so idiotic when people say that one company should go out of business. It's like the worst. It's like anti-human as well. Hey, you should make money.
Yeah.
I don't like.
Do you know what's always good for business, Andy? A monopoly. That's always works out so well. That.
Yeah, I mean, it was so great in wrestling for 20 years, man. What a benefit to the business.
There's only one good monopoly, and that's the board game Monopoly.
Yeah, the little guy with a bow hat and his little dog get in jail. Camille's good. Big presence, obviously. The rollout of her in the NWA was done very well, where she was initially the strong, silent bodyguard of Nick Aldis.
Yeah.
But then she transitioned into an in-ring role, and she was women's champion for 800 days before she eventually lost the belt last year.
Like I said, she's going to go to NXT for a bit. They'll do the usual. Make sure you can do it the WWE way. Do you foresee interactions when she does go up to the main roster between her and Aldis? Or do you think they're going to say, oh, well, it didn't happen here, so it didn't happen?
The NWA is quite low profile, so I don't think they'll mention it. If it was, happening on AEW TV where 800,000 people are watching every week, that's a different matter. The NWA is pretty small. With all due respect,
I think that's fair.
Maybe a bit less respect to what the product is now because Billy Corgan's lost his mind. But
I think there might be a little interaction with people if you know, you know. But
something for the nerds would be good. And look, nerds is a compliment. I say that all the time.
Game recognized game, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Camille. Anyway, let's talk about something else. These
turns to Roderick Strong. Camille!
Don't tar me with that, bro. Nice mustache, though.
Hey.
Nice mustache. Good stuff, Roddy. Love that. Let's talk about Samoa Joe.
Terrifying man.
I've become the thing I hate. He has spoken a little bit about the all-in backstage fight.
Yes!
Punk, Jab Harry. Punk eventually got fired a week later with cause. Jab Harry got suspended. He hasn't shown up back in AEW, but he was on New Japan last week. Scapegoat, all of that. You know the deal.
Still can't believe they didn't tell security in advance.
I know.
Wild.
Funny. That's funny. This little guy just jumping over the thing. Woohoo! There was a Fightful report short. If you wonder why Samoa Joe's significant here, obviously he wrestled Punk immediately after.
Yes.
But Fightful published like a couple of days after the fight that Joe was trying to be a peacekeeper in the whole thing and keep people apart. I imagine Samoa Joe was like, "Why are you fighting? We have a match. This is silly."
Kind of a big show, this, guys.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? However, he has spoken about it, and I love the way he talks. He just brushes it off. It's class. Here's what he told ESPN's Mark Raimondi. There was a little bit of an incident. We got it broken up. We went out there and we wrestled, man. That's the gist of it. Everybody wants it to be a lot more than what it is, but that's what it was. And to speak more on it would be pointless unless you're trying to get a scorecard and stuff. But trust me, it wasn't that kind of fight. When Raimondi asked if it wasn't a big deal, Joe agreed. He said, "Not to me. I've seen fights break out. Stuff happens."
Yeah.
But then again, that's me. I've been in these situations. I've seen that. I find it funny when people are like, "Oh, Joe's cool with it." I mean, nah, man, it was a high-stress situation, sure, but it's one I've seen happen many times. We get it squashed out. There you go.
Ring of Honor, TNA, WWE, AEW, all the other indies. He's seen it all. He's done it all, Joe.
You wouldn't mess with him either.
No, if I was going to have someone to break up a fight, it probably would be Samoa Joe, because everyone would be like, "All right, Joe's getting involved now. Let's calm down."
Yeah.
But he's so professional with it all, and he's just like, "Come on, guys, let's move past it." I know we feed on it but we're a content producer and what have you. It was a big thing, obviously, that happened. It's led to so many different things. But yeah, I like the fact that Joe's not, going over old ground. He's like, "Look, it happened. I've seen it before." It doesn't necessarily say that he endorses it, obviously, and he just dealt with it, and I'm glad we can move past it, and I love the fact he's world champion right now.
He's so cool and calm and everything. I love Samoa Joe.
He was such a lovely man as well. Like, he's got an aura about him. He's a real presence. And then when Miller interviewed him backstage at WrestleMania, he was just cool and like talking about like Twisted Metal and stuff like that.
Video games, all that stuff. Love the Joe, man.
Yeah.
Love the Joe.
He's a nerd as well.
We're all nerds, man.
We're all nerds.
We're all nerds at the end of the day.
Yes.
That's why it's good. That's why wrestling's good now, because Tony Khan is a giant wrestling nerd, and Triple H as well. They're very different kinds of wrestling nerds. Tony Khan's out here watching flipping 1978 IWC or whatever. Triple H maybe a little bit different. Big Harley race fan.
Yes.
But they're both massive dorks, and that's why it's good now. So maybe we should stop using those words as insults.
Yeah.
Because they show people care.
From dorks to drugs. LA Knight sort of clarified the situation in terms of the drug testing in WWE. He was on the Kyle and Jackie O show, as him and Grayson Waller have been on the promotional tour ahead of WWE going to Perth for Elimination Chamber, of course. They were asked... I love the fact that Kyle and Jackie O show's still going, by the way. I was knowing about this. I was being told about this place when I was doing commercial radio.
Is it like Carl Kennedy and...
It's very similar. Waller and Knight were asked anyway about roiding it up as a cheap way to get in shape. By the way, we're going to get to another thing that happened on this promotional tour in a second. And Knight confirmed explicitly that WWE stars are forbidden from taking steroids. Waller, because he's awesome, joked, "It would make life so much easier," but LA Knight commented, that would actually make recovery easy, but no, every month we get tested, every single month. So yeah, it's a monthly testing policy within WWE, according to LA Knight. As I said, they've been on the promotional rounds for the Elimination Chamber. That one probably less covered. More so their appearance on Sunrise that you may have seen doing the rounds on social media yesterday, where Grayson Waller almost fought a floor manager, I believe, because they weren't respecting the business. A lot of love for Grayson Waller, quite rightly, off the back of this.
Like Vader in Q8.
Yeah.
Gee whiz. That's the first time ever Grayson Waller's been compared to Vader.
Yes. But I think, a lot of people are like, fair play. People, when he's like that, bell end was like, "Come on, let's have a..." Grayson Waller was like, "I will just punch you in the face." But their promotional tour, along with just WWE's decision to go to Perth, seems to be doing very well. They've distributed, because I never know what the difference is, according to WrestleTix, over 44,000 tickets for that show in February.
Yeah, so it's going to be big.
Yeah.
Big. I quite enjoyed them just joking about taking steroids.
Yeah.
It's quite funny. But yeah, once a month, that's new information, I think. Mm-hmm. So that's why we're kind of talking about it a little bit. I had a look at this podcast because I've not heard of it. The Carl and Jackie O show.
Kyle and Jackie O, yeah.
And I read the description, and it was like the biggest podcast in the world. I mean, that's a lie for a start. Look at this guy's right here.
Hello.
Come on. Carl and
It is one of the best
Jackie O.
podcasts out there. That's not ours.
I think they need to start respecting their business.
I'm going over to Australia and having words with them.
Yeah, I'm going to kick their ass, man. Probably not, because I'm like really soft these days.
I'll fight that floor manager instead.
Yeah, take him out. probably knows like boxing or something like that.
Probably could handle himself actually.
Yeah.
I'll poke him in the eye. Right, let's move on to Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE. Of course, if you want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from David John. David, thank you for your question. Good morning, wrestling's last real journalist and my beautiful bald brother. With the Rumble on the horizon, do you think WWE will have some fun with some of the entrance music? Something like using Broken Dreams for Drew.
Yeah.
Shiggy. Or have Dom use Ray's music to troll fans. I like that.
Yeah, that would be fun, especially because Ray's still injured. They obviously did the big troll move with the mask the other year as well. Yeah, I could see them, especially the Dom thing. I think that's very on brand for him. He's a troll piece of crap. Yeah, it would work. It would work quite well. People love Broken Dreams as well.
Yeah, I don't know what it does things to me.
Yeah. Sheamus is another one. They love the lobster head out there.
Yeah, and it's also one of those things where I think it's fair to say in recent years, I've been watching the Rumble. I've been doing the stream for the Rumble and going 3, 2, 1, and the theme starts and I go, I'm going to have to see the Tron to know who this is. So hopefully they've got slightly more recognisable. I think it's got better recently.
Was it 2022 where it was just like, every entry, pardon, who's this? And then like someone would come out and be like, I really like Io Sky. Yeah. That's a bad example. Her music hasn't changed, but you know.
Yeah. I'm very excited for the Rumble. We are, of course, doing a live stream for it next Saturday, so join myself and Michael Hamflett for that one. And check out our video predicting all the entrants, women's and men's, that we've done over the past couple of weeks.
Channel, yeah.
Right, let's move on to the next question. Michael Hipshire gives us our at the real hip, which is a cool Twitter handle. Thank you, Michael. Sorry, Andy, but I need the only real wrestling journalist in the business's opinion here. Do you think the failed contract talks between WWE and Mercedes Money is a work? Oh God, you know how to get me, Michael. And when Damage Control turn on Bayley, she'll be saved by a returning Sasha Banks and Naomi. Cheers. I will say this, right? Despite all the reports from the other alleged journalists that Mercedes Money is imminently arriving in AEW, every week she doesn't show up, the closer we get to the Rumble, the more I think, so you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah, like I don't think it's a work.
No. No.
I don't think that
even I don't think that.
Yeah, I don't think that Sean Ross Sapp would put information out there if he thought he was being worked. Although, you know, sometimes reporters get led astray or whatever, but like
they have their sources. Sometimes these are.
It's Sean, you know, he's the scoop guy now, so probably not.
Well, after me and CM Punk.
But like situations are fluid; they can change.
Yes.
Like anyone can come in. Like Mercedes, WWE could go, no, actually, give her what she wants.
Yeah, we found this big bag of money, and we can double your offer.
Yeah, we're actually more profitable than ever, so we can actually afford to pay you more.
It's so bloody tight.
Tight buggers. So like the situation could change. I'm not ruling her out going back to WWE at all. Like I would not be surprised if she showed up in the Rumble. Personally, I would rather she stayed away from WWE for a bit because I think the global exploration opportunities are much more like just going in one place, man. We've seen her there for like 10 years. Come on, let's get more Japan, let's get more other places in America.
Because we had that for a bit, but obviously she's been injured for so long. And it's one of those, like you say, we got a bit of a taste, but I'm inclined to agree with you. Like I would like to see Sasha in this new version of WWE under Triple H. But that's not going anywhere, is it?
No, exactly.
So why not try out doing that? And if she works in AEW, she obviously can still do Japan stuff.
And while she's away, maybe in the year or so, that maybe she goes somewhere else. Look, Triple H's WWE's well booked. One thing they're not good at booking is singles programs for the women's champions.
Yeah.
What memorable singles feuds has Rhea Ripley had up until this Becky Lynch thing started? Literally zero. She's one of the protagonists of Raw. She's awesome. She's sick. She's one of the reasons the Judgment Day is so great. But her singles feuds have been either non-existent or just kind of rubbish.
Yeah.
Io Sky, similar story. So they definitely have something to figure out in their booking patterns when it comes to like singles feuds in those divisions. There's been a few good ones here and there. Trish and Becky was good. For a title. So they still have a few things to figure out. So maybe Mercedes, go away over here, do some AEW stuff, go to Mexico. Why the hell not? Let's go back to Stardom for a bit. 2 years, come back, WWE's kicking ass.
And in a dream situation, imagine if it was like they could actually do trades. Like, you know what? AEW, you give us Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks, we'll give you Becky Lynch for a year.
Imagine that world.
It's never going to happen, but we can dream.
They could do like an NFL draft with like the robot and all that stuff. WWE had those goofy robot mascots, right? What would AEW have as a mascot?
Tony Khan.
Just Tony Khan. Yeah, just...
Flip this person!
Let's flip and go! I love him, man.
Yeah.
I love everyone.
Final question comes from Mark Brightman.
I don't love Hulk Hogan,
no.
but, you know.
Mark Brightman, good to him to save that person the other day, though. Mark Brightman says, good morning, esteemed gentlemen. Morning, Mark. With Seth being injured and questionable to make it to WrestleMania 40, I've realised I've asked this question and I haven't actually asked you before we came in here. And any update on the MRI?
No, I haven't heard, but I imagine, you know who's always got the scoop on this? Mike Johnson of PW Insider. Always seems to have maybe he's got a source in Birmingham, Alabama. So we'll be keeping an eye out for that. If it breaks before tomorrow's video, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Anyway, with Seth being injured and questionable to make it to WrestleMania 40, do you think we see Priest cash in? And if so, can Truth win the Rumble to set up their WrestleMania main event? Imagine, right? We're sat here going, is Cody going to finish the story or what's going to happen with The Rock? And then in all this, the Punk is just like, out of the way, you.
Yeah, see you later.
It's time for Truth versus Damian Priest.
I don't want to burst your bubble. R-Truth isn't winning the Royal Rumble and R-Truth is not headlining WrestleMania.
A stretch, I booked him to win the Andrew the Giant Memorial Battle Trophy because that'd be funny because he's saying they screwed up the other year.
Yeah, that would actually be pretty good.
He's not winning the Rumble.
No.
He's not even in my top 10 picks to win the Rumble. As much as I love what he's doing right now.
That being said, you could just do a cash-in.
The thing is, they do have a get-out-of-jail... they don't have to book next week. Brock's back and he's fighting Seth! They do have a person who Seth can be like, oh, I've had an MRI, but I'm going to soldier on through, even if that's not the actual real story. And I soldier on through and I take some weeks off and Damian Priest comes out and is like, no, you're not.
See you later.
Yeah.
You know what they should do? They should film a video where Seth's getting surgery, he's in his hospital bed.
Please,
Damian Priest just pins him in hospital.
You know the bit with Vince and Austin? Yeah. I'll take it from here, nurse.
Just beams him.
The noise of that bedpan off Vince's head just stays with me forever. But yeah,
great.
He just sees, and sir, if you just like to take some of this, and Damian Priest pulls the mask down. And turns out one of the nurses is a referee. 1, 2, 3. But yeah, sorry to burst your bubble about R-Truth, but he's gonna have a great time at WrestleMania, no doubt.
He's just not winning. He's not winning the Rumble.
No. But thank you for your question. And hey, in the interim, whilst you're waiting for our tickets to go on sale, they know what they can do, Andy.
Check this one out right here.
Here.
See you later.
Bye.
Buy tickets.